What's up, Heat fans? Nic Rohloff here at the Heat Report by Chat Sports. On today's show, should the Heat trade for Lauri Markkanen? Because there is a rumor out there that Miami and Pat Riley may have interest in a trade for the former All-Star from the Utah Jazz. This will make Heat fans very happy, as Markkanen someone that the Heat have always Heat fans would always wanted to pair up with Bam Adebayo. And where did this all start? Well, Sam Amico, Hoops Hype, Sean Deveney from Heavy.com, they dropped the report that said the Lakers, Knicks, and Heat have interest in trading for Jazz star Lauri Markkananen. And I do want to preface this before we talk about the player, how he would fit, and what it would cost for Miami. I think that report is a little misleading. I don't want to kill it for you guys and bring you down and kill the happiness, but when you actually read the article, it's not really that much of a report. The NBA report, if you will, or the inside information came from an anonymous GM who kind of was just speculating. He said that there are a few teams that when you look at it, he is going to be their dream target. I want to preface dream target. The Lakers, you get a guy like him with Anthony Davis, and that's perfect for both guys. The Knicks would love to get a hold of him. The Heat, again, put him with Bam Adebayo, and that is the pair you want to build around. You can send Jimmy Butler wherever he wants. Not, by the way, just disregarding the Jimmy Butler trade thing, whatever. But it, to me, feels like the real report here is just that a GM is saying that the Heat should want to, or I don't know. I don't really believe that this is real reported interest from Miami. It's just all speculation that the Heat would like to add him to a front court alongside Bam Adebayo. But I will say this, and we're going to continue the conversation on Lauri Markkananen because Miami should be interested. We talked about him at the NBA trade deadline or just before it if the Heat wanted to make a massive move and he was available via trade. That he is a fantastic fit next to Bam because of his size, his ability to shoot the ball from all areas of the floor, and the versatility Miami would have defensively and offensively. They definitely should be interested, and we'll talk more about Markkananen in just a second. But make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and make sure you're joining us, by the way, for our watch party for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Yes, you heard that correctly. We are going to be live on the channel breaking down the Mavericks-Celtics NBA Finals series. Just like we would do for a Heat game, we'll be rooting against Boston in all likelihood. I know it sucks we have to root for the Mavs, but I can't see Boston bring home a title. So we're going to root against the Celtics for every game of the NBA Finals. So subscribe and join us to have a lot of fun. All right, let's get back to talking about Markkananen because this is one of the best scorers in the NBA, averaging 23.3 points a game a year ago, 8.5 boards, while shooting 48% from the field and 38% from three. He is as dynamic as a scorer in the front court as there is in the NBA. And he's just a perfect addition to this roster. There's always been us fans, and I believe the Heat front office as well, searching for the person to pair with Bam Adebayo, as they've always went small in the front court. Well, we don't want to go small anymore. We want a legit 4 or a legit 5 that can space the floor and fit offensively and defensively with Bam for the long term. I think the potential is there for Nikola Jovic, but I don't know if his ability to score in isolation settings will ever be where Lauri Markkanen's is. I think Jovic could be a better catch-and-shoot spot-up three-point shooter. I think that is very real, especially with Jovic shooting 39.9% from three last season. I expect him, if he's on the Heat roster, to get a much expanded role. But he will never be able to do what Markkanen can, going to the rim and finishing through contact and above people. And Markkanen's got great size, man, and this is the part that really intrigues me. Comes in at 7 feet and a half inches. That's really good size. And the thing is, like, he's not a center. He is a forward. But his size allows him to guard centers. The wingspan is negative, which isn't great, but when you're 7 feet, it kind of is okay. And the size versatility for Markkanen and Bam is appealing because guess what? Bam is your center, but Markkanen can guard the centers, which means I guess you could call him a center, but on offense, he plays that power forward floor spacing ability while Bam does what he does best, setting picks, rolling to the rim, and working from 18 feet and into the basket because you can kick it out to Markkanen, or if they leave Bam on an island, he can go score in the paint on his own. It works a lot, and hypothetically, if you were to match up with the Celtics in the playoffs, because that feels like the benchmark now in the East, at least for the next 2 or 3 seasons, You could have Markkanen guard Kristaps with no size issues there, and then you could have Bam, Roman, Tatum, and Brown. It just makes a lot of sense for the Heat to add Markkanen both offensively and defensively. So be honest for me. Would you want to trade for Lauri Markkanen? Type Y for yes or type N for no. I got to be honest. If you type no, I don't really know what you're looking for in addition to this Heat roster, but it is a free country. You can say whatever you want. All right, let's look at Markkanen more in depth here analytically and how efficient he is in the NBA. This is his shot chart from last season. What stands out to me the most? Well, he doesn't take a lot of mid-range shots. Obviously, the bigger the circle, the more he takes a shot there. And then we've talked about this in the past. Dark blue means very, very good, and the lighter blue means bad. So he's actually not that good shooting in the mid-range, head on from the basket, like around the free throw line or just inside the free throw line. That's not ideal, but as you see, good blue marks across every portion of the three-point line. That's great. And he finishes really well around the rim. But I want to look more in depth at that three-point shooting because he is above or just around league average in every single department. Left corner three. Shot 37.8%. Not a lot of them, but shot efficiently, just below league average. But then here's the part that's the most intriguing. The left wing, top of the key, and right wing. He shot 41.2%, 41.1%, and 36.7%. Common theme there, way above league average. 5% better and from the left wing. Almost 6% better from the top of the key. Just about 1% higher from the right wing. And then he was also one of the best right corner three-point shooters in the NBA, shooting 8% better than the league average. He is one of the best three-point shooters in the entire NBA. And it's not your standard three-point shooter running off screens, pin downs. He can do that type of things, but it's a lot of him being able to just float in the offense and not really have a specific role, but he can just fit anywhere. Like if they wanted to run a pick and roll with Walker Kessler and Keontae George, well, they have Markkanen on the weak side ready to catch and shoot a three. Markkanen can do it at all 5 spots on the three-point line, but he can also finish around the rim, making him one of the most versatile offensive players at the 4 position in the NBA. He's a jack of all trades. I wouldn't say he's a great playmaker, but he definitely can do it as well. Markkanen can absolutely dominate on the offensive end, could help carry the Heat in the regular season alongside Bam offensively, and then kind of fall back to that 2B, 3A type offensive guy in the postseason, assuming you still have Jimmy and Bam on that roster. We're going to talk what a trade could look like in just a second, but make sure you are playing PrizePicks on a daily basis because it's the best daily fantasy sports app on the market, and you could join more than 5 million members playing on a daily basis. With PrizePicks, you can turn $10 into $1,000 with a single game watching your favorite sports this summer. Make a PrizePicks lineup in as little as 60 seconds. You just need to pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you're locked in. NBA Finals Game 1 coming up on Thursday night. And I've already got my entry in, which kind of screwed me if I'm going to be honest, because another reason why PrizePicks is the best, they have so many specials and flash deals. Well, guess what? Jason Tatum, right now, if you go out of PrizePicks, his point total, half. Yep, you heard that correctly. You can just take more than a half a point on Jason Tatum for the first game of the finals. But I went a little bit early, and I took the less on his 27.5. I still believe that will be a good pick. I also took more than on Derek White, 14.5, and then more than on Daniel Gafford, 6 rebounds. Don't be like me. Take advantage of the deals they give you on a daily basis, whether it be Taco Tuesday, Flex Friday. They have it all. So get started today. Download the app and use code CLNS to get a first deposit match up to $100. Or you can click on that link in the description in the comments. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use code CLNS. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Now, when we talk about what the Heat would have to give up for Lauri Markkananen, it's going to be a lot, folks. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it will cost probably your top trade assets to acquire the big-time forward. And this is my trade idea. And it's not just getting Lauri Markkananen, which makes this a little bit more intriguing for me. I don't know about y'all, but the Heat in this trade idea get Lauri Markkananen and Jordan Clarkson, who we'll talk about in just a second. But you do have to give up your farm. You give up Tyler Herro, you give up Jaime Jaquez Jr., Nikola Jovic, and a 2030 first-round pick. But I am a big fan of this trade idea, and I do think the Jazz, if they don't want to extend Lauri, because you do have to do that, we'll talk about that later, I think the Jazz would be intrigued by this. And from Miami's side of things, you get the third star you're looking for in Lauri Markkananen to pair up with Jimmy and Bam. You get a scoring sixth man that could fill that Tyler Herro role that he had 2 years ago in Jordan Clarkson, and you'd get to keep the 15th overall pick in this NBA draft, which could help you replace a Caleb Martin or Haywood Highsmith. And specifically looking at what you'd receive as the quote-unquote throw-in in Jordan Clarkson, he is one of the better volume scorers off the bench in the NBA. And yes, the efficiency is not great, even though he's averaged more than 15 points a game in the last 4 seasons, and he's played in a decent amount, just 55 being his lowest a year ago. Yeah, the three-point efficiency and just from the field isn't good, but you need this type of player on Miami because we have seen them struggle so often offensively in the regular season when it matters most. Jordan Clarkson is not afraid to take and make a big shot, and if you were to have him coming off the bench behind a Duncan Robinson or Terry Rozier, who would probably be your starting backcourt in this situation, that would be an ideal fit for Miami and Clarkson, who has 2 years left on his deal worth $14 million a piece. So would you do this trade? Type A for accept or type D for decline. You get the forward. You get the sixth man. You just got to give up Herro, Jaquez, Jovic, and a first-round pick. I am trading for Lauri Markkananen because, well, I know you'd have to give up a lot, probably Herro, Jovic, Jaquez, and some draft capital, but he is the best possible fit alongside Bam Adebayo that the Heat can ask for. 7 feet in size, shoots 38% from the field, averages 20 a game. He can really dominate the scoring in your front court for Miami, which would allow Bam to maybe exert more effort on the defensive end, but Markkananen can also play good defense. Those two could be interchangeable, switching on bigs and perimeter wings as well. It would just be such an ideal fit for Miami. You get an elite front court, probably the best in the NBA, in Butler, Markkananen, Bam. If the Jazz are open to trading him, Pat Riley and the Heat should be all in and get this deal done. Because your starting lineup would look like this, man, and I kind of just referenced this a second ago. Terry Rozier and Duncan Robinson are your backcourt. That backcourt worked for a good portion of the season when Herro was out with injury, and then you have that front court. But then you also have a bench of Jordan Clarkson, like I mentioned. Josh Richardson is likely going to opt in to his $3 million player option, so those two are your backup pieces in the backcourt. So your four-man group is Rozier, Duncan, Clarkson, Richardson. But you also will have more. Maybe you re-sign DeLon Wright. Maybe you get another vet min center. Or you draft whoever you draft at 15, and that rookie could play a big role as Bam's backup center. Or maybe it's a Tristan Da Silva to be that wing guy off the bench. Like, you'd probably be able to have a really solid 8-9-man rotation that would just be able to maybe get you over the hump in the NBA postseason where, yes, the Heat have been able to make runs and make the finals twice in the last 5 seasons, but maybe adding Markkananen is just a better fit to help the Heat win an NBA title. But as I did mention, you would have to extend Lauri Markkananen. Lauri is entering the final year of his current contract, which is worth $18 million. That is probably the best contract in the NBA, either him or Jalen Brunson. In terms of money you're paying for a season and what you're getting in return, Brunson's getting like, I think, 24, 25 mil. Markkanen's getting 18. Yeah, that's terrific. But if you did trade for him, obviously Pat Riley would have an extension in mind, so you would keep him around long-term with Bam. I would have to look more in depth at what type of contract he could get because there's the Supermax requirements. I don't think he'd be able to get that, so maybe like a 4 for 160 or a 4 for 170 could be on the table for Lauri Markkananen, but I would be absolutely willing to pay that if the Heat made that deal to pair him up with Bam Adebayo. All right, I will do it for today's video. Like I said earlier, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and make sure you are joining us for our watch party between the Celtics and Mavericks. It's going to be a lot of fun. I miss being live with you guys. The last live show we did was the final game of the season for Miami in the postseason. So I'm hoping to see some of you guys just hanging out, talking ball, and having a blast. So subscribe, join us, and hopefully I'll see you then.